Beyond the Bill of Rights. Directions. Read the amendments below and then put them in your own words. Here you'll find a chart with amendments on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side, you're going to write in your own words what they mean. I'm going to read each amendment and give some background information on the amendments. So Amendment 13, Section 1 says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their section. So here it's saying neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, and pay attention to the commas. We're going to skip this exception part for now. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States. So slavery and involuntary servitude, they shall not exist in the United States. So slavery should not be in the United States, also involuntary servitude. So involuntary servitude is something very similar to slavery. All that means is servitude means to serve or to be underneath somebody, to kind of serve in a role that looks similar to slavery, to be a servant to somebody else. And involuntary means they're not doing it willingly. When you volunteer for something, you do it willingly. You want to do it. Involuntary is the opposite, where it's forced upon you. So here it's saying both these things, slavery and involuntary servitude, they're not going to exist in the United States. We're not having that in the United States. But there's an exception here. It puts an exception here, except as punishment for crime where the party has been duly convicted. So if you commit a crime and you're convicted, meaning they find you guilty, you did the crime, then you'll go to jail and prison. So at that point, they can take away your freedom. They can tell you what to do for the time that you have to serve in jail. Once you're out of jail, then you get those rights back. So it's saying, again, slavery or involuntary servitude, neither of these things shall exist in the United States, except in terms of when you get punished for jail. Amendment 14, Section 1. All persons or naturalized in the United States and subject to jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of laws. Okay. So first it's saying here, all persons or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States and the state where they're in. So if you were born in the United States, you're a citizen of both the United States and the state. So here in New York State, if you were born in New York State, you're both citizen of the United States and New York State. If you were in Jersey, if you were born in Jersey, you're born in the United States, citizen of the United States and citizen of New Jersey. That's all that means. Or it says naturalized. So it applies the same thing if you were naturalized. Naturalization, what that means is you're not a citizen of the United States, but you go to the process of becoming a citizen. And if you're not a citizen, you can take a citizenship test. If you pass the test, you'll become a citizen of the United States. And depending on your age, if you have like a parent that takes the test, and if you're underneath a certain age, then you automatically get that naturalization as well. Okay, so this first part's just saying these are who the citizens are. Now next, no state shall make or enforce any law that shall abridge the privileges nor immunities of citizens of the United States. So no state shall make or enforce any law that abridges. Abridges means to shorten or to make less. Privileges is just another word for your rights. So no state can make any law that lessens your rights or that makes your rights less or takes away your rights, your privileges here. So if you're a citizen of the United States, you have certain rights, and no state can pass a law that makes those rights less. Nor shall they deprive life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Again, they can't make your rights less, and they can't take away your life. No, they can't do that. No, they can't take away your freedom. No, they can't do that. And they can't take away your property. They're not allowed to. Without due process of law, that is. So again, if you commit a crime, that changes things. So due process of law is, if you're ever accused of a crime, you go through the process. You go through the court system, and if you're found guilty or innocent, that's the due process of law. So obviously, if you're found innocent, then you're cleared, and states can't take your life, liberty, or property. However, if you're found guilty of a crime, then depending on the crime that you take, then yeah, states can take that away from you. So if you stole a car, obviously, and found guilty, they can take that car away from you. They can take that property away from you. You stole it. If you sorry, if you commit a serious enough crime and you need to go to jail or prison, then yes, they can take that liberty. You don't have your freedom anymore for a certain amount of time, depending on what your sentence is. And if you commit a serious enough crime, some states can take away your life. We call this capital punishment or the death sentence. So states can only take this, they normally can't take any of these things away from you, except with due process of law if you're ever found guilty of certain crimes. And the last part, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So as a citizen, you get what's called equal protection of the laws, meaning there's no special privileges for anybody. If you are a citizen, you're going to receive, or the laws are going to apply to you the exact same way. So if you're a citizen of the United States and you stole something, you're going to get a punishment for that crime. So you're a student right now, teenage student, you stole something, you're going to get a certain punishment. Someone who might be like a famous actor does a certain crime, because they're a famous actor doesn't mean that they don't get a punishment. They get the same punishment underneath the law. So everybody is treated the same underneath the law. That's what equal protection means. There'll be some exceptions for certain age for very young children, but in general, any adults that might commit the same crime, they're going to get the same punishment. One person is not going to get is not going to be let free because they're rich or something like that, or they're a famous actor or anything like that. That's what equal protection means. The law applies to everybody the same. Amendment 15, Section 1. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. So first, let's go to the last part here. So race just means genetically where you came from. So if you came from certain parts of the world, that's going to be labeled your race, color, how you appear, and previous condition of servitude. This applies back in 1870 when there used to be slaves. So some people that used to be slaves that are now free, that's what condition of servitude means, previous condition of servitude. So here it's saying the rights of citizens of the United States to vote. As a citizen, you get the right to vote for people in your government. And it's saying this right shall not be denied or abridged. Again, no one's going to say, no, you can't vote. And no one's going to shorten it or make your voting power less. So the rights of citizens to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the account of your race. So just because you're a certain race, you come from a certain country, or your parents come from a certain country, you cannot be denied or abridged the right to vote, or how you look like, or if you used to be a slave. The right to vote cannot be denied or abridged because of those things. Amendment 17. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, elected by the people thereof, or for 6 years. And each senator shall have 1 vote. The electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislatures. Okay, so this one's actually relatively simple. It's just saying the Senate, which is part of our Congress, it shall be composed of 2 senators from each state selected by the people for 6 years. And the senator shall have 1 vote. There's really not much else to this one. Um, the reason why this amendment was put in place because the way it was selected was not the people didn't select the senators before, but now this is allowing people to vote for the senators. So again, it's going to have 2 from each state elected by the people. Us, the regular people, get to vote on them. They serve for 6 years at a time. So once it's 6 years is done, we have to uh, vote for senators again, and they all get 1 vote. The senators, whenever they do their lawmaking, they get 1 vote each. 19. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. So this is similar to what we saw earlier concerning the right to vote. So again, it's saying the right of citizens to vote cannot be denied or abridged. So your right to vote cannot be, no one can say no to it, can stop you from it, or lessen your right. And this one's about account of your gender. So it doesn't matter what gender you are, you cannot be denied or abridged the right to vote. And the background behind this was to give women the right to vote. Prior to the 19th Amendment, only men were allowed to vote. Women were not allowed to vote. So this changed things for women here. And last one here, 26. The right of citizens of the United States who are 18 years or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States by any state on account of age. Okay, and this amendment specifies who can vote and what the restrictions are here. So this is clearly saying here, the rights of citizens who are 18 years or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged on account of their age. So as long as you're 18 years or older, you can vote. And again, this voting power shall not be denied or abridged. No one can deny you, can say no, you can't vote, or make the vote less by account of your age. So it doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you're over 18, no government or state can deny or abridge that right to vote. So after all this, just in the best you can, write these in your own words. Don't copy me. You can use some of the explanations, the ideas that I had, but use your own words to make a nice simplified explanation here that when you talk about this to your parents or to your siblings, it's in your own words, you know how to explain it yourself. And lastly, the concluding questions. And these are kind of fun here. So let's take a look. Number 1, what is an amendment that you would like to see added to the Constitution, the US Constitution? I wrote here, think about what change you want to see happen in this country. You get to write in a super important law. So again, amendments are very important laws. They change the way our country operates in a big way. So is there something that you want to propose? Do you see out there how the country is being run or how things are being treated? Would you like to make a new law here to change the Constitution? And what would you like to see? So here, write what your law is going to be, what you want the law to be. And then number 2 is just explaining why do you think this amendment is necessary? So whatever you wrote in number 1, why is it needed? Why are you putting this law in place? What's the reason behind this law that it is needed right now? And then lastly, is it your opinion, do you think it would receive the necessary votes to become an amendment? Do you think people will agree with you? Do you think people agree that that's a good idea? Because again, amendment process is really hard to get. You need 67% or 2/3 of Congress to agree to this. Getting people, 67% of people to agree to this, the lawmakers, is really difficult. So do you think your idea, do you think people will get behind it? If you think yes, yeah, people will get behind it, just give me the reason. Why do you think people will get behind it? If not, it's a difficult one. Tell us why. Why do you think it's really hard to accomplish the law that you had?